Hey y'all, so I'm driving to Target for my closing shift, well, short shift, 6 to 10:30. Sorry, and I thought of live streaming a little bit. Mostly what I wanted to talk about today is I told you I started doing the boxing training, and I took the weekend off to be with my daughter, Saturday and Sunday, and I went back yesterday, and it was really cool because they basically kicked my ass in the gym. I did a 2-hour workout compared to the hour that I did in the initial week, and I just wanted to say that I'm realizing how important it is to work out regularly. So if you can, and I honestly think you should, unless you just had a kid and they need to eat and sleep every 3 hours, so it's a different kind of commitment like I had in the last 3 years or something like that. My daughter now is 4, so I have more time. It's very important that you find the time to do something each day, at least for an hour, because it completely changes your outlook on things, in the sense that it makes you feel just at peace with yourself and your own body, and it doesn't matter where you're at mentally, it just kind of gives you a clean slate and more clarity, and it's something that I was missing. When you start doing it again, you feel how much your body and your mind was missing that. So yeah, just my suggestion, and I stupidly never did that. I did team sports before, but I never really trained in a boxing gym, and I have to say that I was thinking, I have the bag in my garage and I can just do the bag and it's a good exercise, and it is, right? But you're really missing on all the social element to it, and it's very good, in the sense it's very good having somebody push you, and boxing trainers, they're cool dudes. They kind of know what's up with men and what's up with people, and they know humanity really well, right? So it's really good to have someone who kind of helps guide you through your training, and besides showing you how to do the exercise correctly, right? Because I did personal training sessions before in the gym, and to be honest with you, it's okay, even that is cool, but it's not the same kind of relationship that you create with a trainer in a boxing gym. And I really recommend it. And also there is all that element of camaraderie that you build with the other people who is learning, and if you're smart, and you should, you can pick up a lot from these people. There is this guy Tony that I train with, and I ask him a million questions as well, and it's interesting. He learned how to box by watching YouTube videos, and I believe it's the first time that he goes to train in a boxing gym, but you can really see how well he gets all the different movements and the positions, and it's very important, because the best way to don't hurt yourself is really to be able to hit the bag or your adversary properly and punch correctly, especially when you do a repeated effort. It's very important that you do it in the proper way so that you don't hurt yourself, right? And it's nice because you build a rapport with this person, and you learn to rely on other people, so it's a very good mental exercise in terms of training your body and your mind and learning how to be around other people. And it's a really cool sport. Like if you start doing some sort of training each day, the other thing that happens is that you automatically start eating better, mostly because you did and you put in all that work, and you don't want to waste it. And so you don't want to go around eating crap, right? I don't really drink, and so it's not a problem that I have, because I don't like drinking. It doesn't make me feel good. When I was in my 20s, I used to drink a lot, and honestly I'm just like over it. I don't like it, and I don't need it. Like, you're much better off if you don't drink at all. But the food element also is so important, and is incredibly nice to go after each training. You buy, I don't know, some chicken thighs, some drumstick or some steak, some eggs, and you make yourself these meals, and like, you get really fucking hungry, and it's nice to eat a nice meal after you do a training. It's just like very important and refreshing, and it's a different kind of hunger, because you kind of eat like a lot of food, but you feel good about it, because it's like you feel like your body needs it to recover and to build muscle, and also sleep. Like, you kind of get to the evening that you're beat up, right? You're tired, and especially if you find yourself having trouble going to sleep, is a really good thing, because you get your endorphins going in the day, and by the time that you need to go to bed, you're actually like craving going to bed. Last night I was putting to bed my daughter, and I was laying on her bed reading her a story, and I legit fell asleep, and like I was so tired, right? And it was funny because she started tickling me and I'm kind of jolted, and I spill all my water. Oh yeah, the other thing is, like, drink a shit ton of water. Like, I got one of these, I got them before. It's just like a bottle that you carry around, and I call it like my emotional support bottle, because I bring it with me everywhere. But is really good. It's good because I realized that I was drinking like a shit ton of coffee just because, I don't know, I like coffee, and I think my body was telling me, hey, you need water, like you need liquid. And I was like, okay, let me have a coffee. But no, it's demented, because in the end I was having like, I don't know, 5-8 coffees a day, and it's absolutely not good. And since I started drinking a lot of water, I realized that that's actually what I wanted. Like, I wanted to drink a lot of water. And it's interesting, I was reading, I was actually asking ChatGPT, you can kind of see the level of hydration that your body has by looking at the color of your piss, which is kind of interesting. Like, your body gives you a natural feedback, right? It's almost like a test that every time you piss, you look at the color of it. The darker it is, the more you're dehydrated, and the lighter or transparent it is, the more you're hydrated. So ideally you want to get in a place where your piss is basically like not yellow at all, like you drink so much that you flush out, the toxins and everything. And in terms also of sleep, you get in a place where you actually have really good sleep. Like, I had a really good sleep last night, and I actually dreamt, and I remember dreaming, and I don't remember exactly what I dreamt, but I could tell when I woke up that I was dreaming. So you get to a deeper state of sleep, as opposed to when you're not physically tired, right? And I talked before about the importance, in my opinion, of not just doing a job with a computer, so just like with your brain, but also do a job with your body, like in the terms of retail or service industry, because it's a different kind of you use different kind of parts of your brain, right? You apply more like social skills and problem solving related to people, and different sort of issues than what you might encounter when you're coding, or you're editing or making spreadsheets or whatever the heck that you do with a computer in a specific case. But I realized like your body and your brain needs both. Like you cannot let one go unchecked or don't take care of it, because you're gonna get into trouble with your sense of self and your body and the demands that your brain has in terms of what he actually needs. And it's funny because I feel like we truly never know too much what is that we need, and that's why it's important that you keep yourself open and try different things and kind of build you know, all your XP, your XP points on all these different things. Like, because if you approach life with almost like a gamification aspect, like, and you take it as a fun thing to do, there is so much that you can learn, so many skills that you can include in your arsenal, and it makes you overall a much better rounded human being, as opposed to just doing one thing. This is just my opinion. Like, I feel like especially now that AI is gonna come up and be able to do a lot of things that humans before were the only one able to do, it's very important that you fully develop yourself in all these different areas, as opposed then tying your sense of identity too much in regards to a job or a specific thing. Because I truly think that our roles in the world are gonna be changing, and changing very rapidly in the next 3 to 5 years. Like, I see every day new things coming out, and I play a little bit with Agents by ChatGPT last week, and it's pretty intriguing because you can literally give it control of your computer, and it can accomplish certain tasks for you. Like, I tried something very basic in the sense that I asked it to make to find a restaurant and make a reservation, and it did it. And so I was like, oh, I want to go in an Italian restaurant to have a romantic date with my wife. This is ideally how much I would want to spend. This is what she doesn't like to eat. This is what we like to eat. This is where we are, and he made the whole plan. And then of course I chose what felt better. So it's like you don't want to relinquish completely the decision making to an AI, but the time that it takes you to get in a place is much quicker, and it's always going to be more like that, right? And part of the fact that I started streaming when I do art is also because of that. Like, I realized that if you don't see somebody making something, it's almost impossible right now knowing if a human actually did it or an AI did it, because you can literally prompt something to look like as if it's been made in a certain way, or like you can fake the human element, let's say. And if you're good at prompting, or you even make a few changes, you do it, it does it pretty well, and it's gonna get much better. Like, I was looking at the first AI pieces that I made. I want to say it was like not long after COVID that DALL-E came out, and they have such a dreamy and ethereal and unrealistic look to them. While now I legit use it like to do, like I use it in this project that I did for the Marine Corps, and it does things that is realistic looking, right? It's stuff that you could definitely think that is actual footage of actual people doing actual thing, right? And it still has some sort of degree of error, but if you create multiple outputs and select the outputs that better serve your need, it definitely gets you in a place where you have something that is indistinguishable from reality. So it's like the fake and the real, they are really starting to merge each other in a way that is gonna be soon not possible to tell if something is real or not. And I think that's also where the blockchain is gonna come into play, because if you can verify on chain all the metadata of something and you cannot alter it, then you're gonna know that, okay, this is actually footage of something that, you know, really happened because it's on chain, and it's not something that a server somewhere like the CNN server or whatever tells you, oh, this is something that happened, right? Because you're not gonna be able to trust organizations anymore. You're not gonna be able to trust companies anymore, because everything that comes from a specific place and a single place is gonna be a point of failure. Like, it's gonna be something that you're not gonna be able to entirely tell if it's true or not. Stuff is gonna need to be verified on chain by multiple nodes and multiple people to be sure that that thing actually happened, and multiple people certify that the thing is true. So it's interesting how all these elements are starting to come together and to kind of support each other. And it's true of all technologies when they come out. But I think like AI specifically is something that truly is gonna change a little bit the sense of what it means to be human. And it's true, like, I don't know, when intercontinental flights came out, there was a very long span of time where, yes, you could travel very quickly and the world changed, right? Because before you had to go, like, I don't know, by horse carriage or train or some shit like that, and it would take forever, like months. So like we went from something taking months to taking like hours, but it was still very expensive, right? For a long time it was very expensive. I want to say like flights started getting cheaper maybe in the 90s, right? Or even more in the 2000s. While all this AI stuff is coming very quickly, like it's coming very quickly and very cheaply. So it's very cheap and it's very quick. And it's very different from other technological innovation, because if you think about, like, I don't know, computers themselves or washing machines or any sort of thing that kind of includes an hardware component, they were always very expensive when they came out. While you can right now run your own models and kind of like download them locally and even you know, create dumber versions of them that they can run on very small machines, basically for nothing, and they are still very powerful. So I really see a world where everything is gonna have their own LLM inside, like that being your car or your fridge, or like who knows, like the amount of care and attention that you're gonna have to put into your everyday life and the things you do is gonna be definitely way less, which is gonna free a lot of time for people. And I think we go back to the idea of the sense of purpose and really what it means to be a human. I don't know, a couple of years back, like maybe 2021 or something around that time, I really started studying the concept of money, mostly because I felt like I was kind of like in a rut with myself and my professional life. Like I felt like, okay, I have all this bunch of money and I'm doing pretty well, but like, what's the point, right? Because I kind of felt unfulfilled and kind of like in a, I don't know, just like I didn't really have a sense of purpose too much. It's something that really helped me to get out of that bubble was to start volunteering, which is something that my therapist at the time suggested. And I started going like every Sunday, help this organization. Like I don't know, I always felt like the homeless issue is something that I felt connected to. Maybe because I don't know, I kind of feel like, you know, I don't really have a home to go back to. Like I don't have a relationship with my family. So I always felt like, you know, if I screw it up or if I'm unlucky or if something happens, I might end up like that, right? And so I felt like really compelled to help someone else that maybe just for different reason didn't have as much luck as I did, so far at least. And I found this organization, and I gotta say that being around people in a space where you kind of know that everyone is there because they want to be helpful and they want to do something nice for each other, or they don't have issues about asking for help, or like they are open to it. It's very refreshing from the human standpoint, because you realize how much it makes you feel good to do things for other people without the expectation of getting something back, right? Because even if you're really nice to your family or your relatives, it's kind of like a little bit self-serving in a way, in the sense that you're still in a way feeding something that is inner to yourself, right? Because like, of course, you should take care of your kids or of your wife or your parents or wherever, but it's still inside the nucleus of people that is more connected to you, right? While the key, I think, is to do things for people who are not in your inner circle. So like being uplifting and being very nice to even people that you just met, right? It makes a huge difference, in the sense that it leaves you a completely different feeling, because we live in this shared reality that is not really defined, if not by by all of us combined, right? And something becomes true or not, like kind of like what we were just saying about nodes and decentralized information. Like, you need the highest possible number of people or nodes to confirm something for it to be true, and it's true also of reality in general, like the sense of what is the world right now, on this day, at this time, in this place, right? So the more you're connected to other individuals and you are in doing something nice for them and uplifting them, the more you become real as a person. And is a really good feeling. Like I remember times in my life where I felt like almost not as a real human being, I would put it. Like I felt like disconnected, and I don't know, I feel like I was having trouble relating to people, mostly because I didn't really know who I am and who I was, and it's because I think I wasn't around enough people, right? So you always kind of second guess yourself or try to hide behind this idea of how you think somebody should behave, and you're just not being yourself. And if you are not yourself, you cannot have the sense of confidence and feel fulfilled and actually get to the decision making of the things that you really want to do, not that you think you would want to do, right? So it's really important to do these kind of things, and it doesn't have to be something about the homeless. I just gravitated towards the homeless mostly because I moved to LA and I was going through that kind of like mental rut as I moved to LA. And I don't know, it's an issue that here you see everywhere, right? You see people living in the street, encampments, like it's kind of wild. Like I never saw that on that scale somewhere else, and I was like, I kind of want to learn about this and do something about it. And so I found this organization that is called Food on Foot, and I started going, and I really like it because they have different parts of their programs, and they have every Sunday a Sunday serving, which is basically like people get in line, and from noon to 2:45 you hand out to people like either food items or clothing or toiletries. They have people from I think is UCLA that every once in a while they check them if they have any medical issue. But it's really nice, like that part, handing somebody, I don't know, an apple, handing somebody a plate of food, handing somebody something that they need. And then they have another part of the program where basically they help youth that either fell into homelessness or they are at risk of falling into homelessness. And they go through this program where they work, they do a few things, and when they graduate they get help with getting their apartment, and they get a place to live in, and they also hook them up with jobs. and it's really cool because you see like every weekend like somebody that graduates from this program, and you can kind of see with your own eyes that, you know, you kind of help someone that was going through a tough spot to kind of unlock the situation that they're in. And I think it's interesting because it's very hard, I realize, to help people who are on the street, because there are so many, like if somebody has been on the street for a while, there is so many issues that have to deal with addiction or mental health, and it's really hard to get somebody to commit to go through the process of, you know, seeing a therapist or go to a treatment center for addiction. And and also there is another component which I realized, that is when you see older people who are on the street, it's very hard to get them employed, because even if you are like, you have all your cards in order and you have a house and you have this and that, and you're someday you lose your job and you're like, let's say in your 50s or even later, basically no one wants to hire you. Basically no one wants to hire you because they see you as I don't know, old, and they would rather go for somebody who's younger, right? And I think there's a lot of prejudice in regards to age, because you instead of thinking, oh, that person has X amount of experience at being a human being, they see you as someone who, oh, that person is this old and still didn't figure it out. But it's kind of bullshit, because something can happen to everyone. Like, you can be a very successful, I don't know, physician or a dentist, and then something happens, and or you make an error and you get sued and you lose your license, and then you're kind of screwed because you have your life set up in a certain way. You spend a certain amount much of money, the people around you kind of expect to do a certain kind of lifestyle, and your life can spiral out of control very quickly, and you can find yourself on the street, even if you have really marketable and good skills that just you're not going to be able to use anymore because of any of these reasons, right? Or if you move that into the context of AI, you know, maybe the job that you've been doing for 40 years is going to become useless because an AI is going to be able to do it like this. So it's really important that you don't lose your sense of self, and how being a human being is defined more by the things that you do for other people as opposed to the things that you do for yourself, right? And we all have skills, and whatever is your skill, you can find a way to employ it in the context of the organization that you choose to help with. Because for example, like I edit video is something that I enjoy, then of course I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to do the same thing all the time. But for example, when I started working with, I was like, hey, you guys have social media, you should put more things on it, right? And we started making a lot of things. We started making interviews and making some sort of recap videos of the serving, film the graduation ceremonies, film the speeches that people give, and it gives you all this sort of window to look into what the organization does and how they do it, and it's pretty cool. It's very interesting. It's something that I think people enjoy it because they can see the work that has been being done, and it makes them feel comfortable about donating. They have this club that is called like the $98 club, and you can sign up to donate that amount each month, and I think it's nice for the people who sign up to see what has been done, you know, that week or that month, who graduated, what's their story. And it's very interesting to learn about all these people's stories, like their backgrounds, what happened to them. And I think a part of it is also similar to what you find interesting at times about watching movies, because you sort of live by proxy, right? You learn about these stories and about these life experiences, and it kind of gives you a data set of things that you might want to try, or you might don't want to do because they're dangerous, and it's very helpful, especially if you find yourself in a situation where you're struggling, and you're gonna find that you can see yourself in a lot of these stories, in a lot of these situations, and it's gonna make you a better human being, like more poised, more calm. You're gonna just have a different outlook on things. And going back to AI, I also think that is incredibly helpful when you start training, because no matter what sport you do or what training you're doing, AI can really help you to better structure your training. Like you can ask, hey, I want to fix this thing, I want to get better at this, or I really want to work this part of my body, how can I do it, right? And it comes up with very good exercise programs that you can implement on your own. And also when it comes to nutrition, like you can say, hey, I do boxing, what should I be eating, right? And beside the what should I be eating is like, give me some recipes that I can make good food with them, because I don't know, I feel like a lot of times when we train we end up eating very bland stuff that I don't know, our brain kind of defaults to the easiest solutions, and they kind of become boring, right? Because the best thing about life, or one of the best ones, is definitely eating. Like it's one of the great pleasures in life. So you want to be sure that you eat well, you eat a lot, and you want to have variety. So AI is great in that, because you can ask what you should be eating, and then it's gonna give you some recipes, and you can kind of talk with it, right? And so you can like, oh, I don't like this, or I don't like that, or I particularly like this kind of food, and you can find something that works for you and your budget and your schedule, because even that is a point. Like we all think like, oh, I don't have time to cook, oh, I don't have time to do this, but it's kind of bullshit, because it doesn't take a very long time to cook. And if you get something like, you know, air fryer or something like that, you don't really need to pay attention as the thing is cooking. Like if you're cooking something on a stove with fire, you really don't want to walk out of the house and or go do other shit around the house, right? You want to pay attention to what is happening, because there is a lot of elements involved, like how high is the flame, should I lower the flame, what should I do, blah blah blah. And also you don't want to burn the house down on the food. While if you literally take some chicken and marinate it and throw it in an air fryer, you just set the air fryer and that's it. Like it's not like you need to check and do anything. You just wait when it's done. And I love doing that because it allows me to have time to do other things. Like when the things is cooking, like I'm playing Mario Kart with my daughter, right? Or I'm doing like, I don't know, putting a little bit of work. Like you can do a million things as soon as you're done setting up the meal and you just like cook in the air fryer. So really use AI and ChatGPT as a way to tackle the everyday issues that you have, and is incredibly powerful with that. Or sending emails, or doing all this kind of menial tasks that we all kind of dread. Or I don't know, make a estimate, make an invoice. Like of course you want to check and be sure that the numbers that spit out, they are actually correct, of the amount that it takes to do something is something that you feel comfortable with. But it saves you a lot of time, really a lot of time, because there is an instantaneity to it, where instead of, you know, putting something together and then having to think on it, you think really well about the parameters of what you want to get out of it, what you're asking. Like you really formulate your question properly, and then you get right off the bat a response back, and this response might or might not be what you were thinking of, and that's where you can tweak. You can tweak by saying, hey, I really like this, but can you incorporate this part? Or maybe it makes you think of something else, like, oh, can you phrase this differently? Or actually I realize that I also need to do this and that. And but you see it on paper, right? On screen right away, right? So you don't lose time, and you don't risk losing yourself in the details, because you kind of get a big picture vision of something pretty and fairly quickly. And so you as a human you kind of tweak these things much quicker, and you can accomplish a lot in a very short amount of time. And I think, like I said it before, like there is an element of humans that is very egotistical, where we think, oh, I know better, or I only know how to do this, right? But learning how to delegate is actually the key to freedom. And it's something that is so true that I'm reading Exodus right now again, and there is literally a part where they're telling Moses that he needs to learn how to delegate like law issues or decision making or certain things to people who he trusts, just because it's not gonna be possible for a single person to take care properly and for an extended period of time of all the responsibilities that come with any sort of position. And especially if you have a managerial position, you need to learn to delegate to people. You can't butt into everything all the time, because you're not gonna make the people around you grow, and you're gonna work yourself to death. And you're gonna get in a point where you're so overworked and just spent, right? You don't want to get to the place where you're completely lose all the charge in your battery, both mental and physical. And the only way to do that is to learn to delegate. And delegate doesn't mean that you lose control of things. It means that you learn how to trust people. And the way to learn how to trust people is to find the right people who have a good seed in them, and kind of help them develop that seed by pairing that with your experience and your know-how and the time that you put into things, so that you can really guide them in a way that is helpful to you. And I think the same is true also of AI. Like AI, you can look at it as if another person who you can train to accomplish something that is close to your vision and to your way of doing things, right? So you don't need to take something that is necessarily an approximation of what everybody else is doing, but you can really infuse some element of how you specifically think and operate and create and do things. And you can really have a very powerful help through that, because you have somebody who literally is never tired, somebody who never complains, somebody who doesn't need a week off, and is always there at your fingertip, no matter the time of the day or the night, no matter what day it is always accessible. So it's something that definitely, no matter what you do, you should check out. But I gotta work, and so I'll talk to you later. Ciao.